Hello there folks, this is Ferengi on board. Welcome to my YouTube channel, a channel where I prefer talking about wisdom and introspection, dream interpretation and other such similar topics. And well, I prefer diving deeper into each and every aspect so that I can provide people with information that I may acquire from my introspective nature. And well, even if I've been deeply introspective for at least half my existence, it's been only recently that I really felt much more of not an urge but a necessity or something that should be done. And a purpose that I perceive I have in life is that I want to simply share all the wisdom that I have acquired, because it simply won't serve me any good once I am, inside my grave. Okay. So the point of today's video is to discuss a bit on a topic that has been in my head for quite a while, and this one will regard problems, and not necessarily mathematical problems but problems in general. And one of the problems that I know has been around me, and most likely has been for much longer than me, is the fact that people have created throughout history, they have created concepts, especially that of communication, and unfortunately they seem to kind of have forgotten what those terms actually mean and how to actually use them. And it's also it is something that defines how ignorant people can be when they simply use whatever they think they know the way they think they know instead of the way it should be done. And this can actually have some repercussions, and always has repercussions, on the subconscious mind, which will in time direct the way you manifest your existence. Now, manifesting existence through your own thoughts is something that happens only after a certain level of awareness, because if one would stay and think, how many times did you wish to die, or how many times did you wish something bad would really happen to you just because you were pissed? And well, also the funny thing is, kind of no one actually manifests any gratefulness to the universe that those bad things didn't become a reality, because in the end the universe knows that each and every individual has a certain purpose, and there is a certain extent of things that will be allowed in one's individual to happen, especially on the lower frequency. So therefore one can simply beg the universe to kill them in any possible way at any given time, but it won't simply happen because the universe knows what that individual should do. And that is why the universe is also at the command of each and every individual to help them manifest whatever they have to manifest through their life purpose. Now, one funny thing that I wanted to discuss about is a silly statement which goes like, to fix the problem. Okay. Now, people might not understand that actually the problem is not fixed. You do not fix a problem, you fix a situation, because fixing means bringing a solution to something. And you don't bring a solution to the problem, because if you bring a solution to the problem, theoretically you make it bigger. Now, how would this go? So you have a machine or something, okay, and if it breaks down, the process of repair, okay, the process of repair implies that you bring something from at least a lower state of functionality to a much better state of functionality, which means either it is fully broken or it is not fully broken, but it doesn't work as good as it should, and you fix that situation when you replace some parts, you, I don't know, oil it, you do whatever it has to be done so that the machine or whatever actually works at, let's say, more normal parameters. Okay. So you have a situation, and the situation has, well, most people through, like untrained logics, they will say, spawned a problem that you fix. You do not fix the problem, you fix the situation, you fix the machine. Okay, because if you fix the problem, you actually put it back. Okay, so let's take it like this. A problem is exactly like death. Okay, it is exactly like this. Now, don't freak out, okay? Like, I'm gonna slowly explain this so that people can actually understand. So a problem is something exactly like death, okay? Death is not something that occurs to you when you are on your deathbed and in the last second of life, poof, your existence is suddenly diminished, it suddenly vanished, and voila, you are dead. I mean, the body is dead, okay? The people, the persons, they are not dead. A person can actually live beyond the body because a person is actually nothing else than a mask, okay? It is a persona that the living person creates, and those things can actually remain because they are somewhat conscious or still unconscious thought forms that they may still live beyond the body, as you know, since they were kind of parasites in a way. Literally any thought that you create and you keep feeding, especially if to your own detriment, that becomes more like a parasite. So after a certain person leaves, don't expect them to come back and show themselves in your dreams, okay? If that ever happens, it might be a sign that there are several things that haven't been fulfilled. For example, after one dies, it is most preferable that you burn all their clothes, and it is preferable that you really burn them, because by annihilating some of the most intimate objects that person had, you signal them that it is much safer for them to leave this world, okay? They no longer can have any sort of attachment since they no longer have a body, so they can no longer experience this world, okay? So I've made a previous video on this, but yeah, okay, you should go and check it out if interested. It's one that speaks about seeing dead people in your dreams. Now, the point about a problem is that the problem is exactly like death. It is a process that appears as soon as an entity it is created, okay? When you are born, you are already dying, okay? Death is not something that occurs in your final second of existence. It is an ongoing process that develops throughout your whole existence. Just like health problems, okay? They are ongoing developmental aspects of your existence, okay? Because your body was meant to exist in a certain state of balance. The way someone treats their body, that will decide how much they will amplify the development of those problems in their life. Because, you know, I call them development because to develop means to create from zero. That is why I always disregard personal development, because personal development means how to create personas from scratch, and it's part of a big branch of manipulation called how to make people compliant to society. That's what social engineering is, and that's what, you know, so personal development is, how to become complacent to society's rules. And well, let's not deviate too much from the topic though, although I kind of really love over delivering. So the point about problems is that once one spawns, they are actually a result, but they are also a process by themselves. So when you have created enough pain and imbalance in your body, the problem can be free to manifest, okay? It is exactly like in programming with game switches. An event will not happen if the switch is not turned on. That is why certain dialogues pop up when you enter a certain zone, or, you know, cutscenes trigger when you reach a certain checkpoint, let's call it like that. So problems are the same thing. They develop over the course of time the more imbalances you create in your own body. And as they develop, okay, they will cause more and more imbalances, and they will call a state of dis-ease in your body, because the purpose of your body is to stay at ease, and diseases appear because basically the body is in a state of dis-ease. And as the problem develops, you know, things can become much more worse. Now, however, there are approaches that you can take, and, you know, you can somewhat remedy the situation, okay? Because you do not remedy the problem. The problem itself is also a process, okay? And the process itself has a functionality. Initially, the problem is not functional because it, well, it doesn't exist at the physical level. It does exist, however, at the in the realm of possibilities, because the moment you have incarnated, okay, you live in a vehicle, and that vehicle, that physical vehicle, your body, has some limitations. And the moment you accept those limitations and you live in those limitations, you are subject to all the possible problems that there can be. Those problems actually exist, but you have to manifest them into your life. Just like all the possible realities that you can manifest in your life, they also exist. You just have to manifest them through the work that you have to put. If you want to become a rich and successful person, there's a lot of work to do for that. If you want to become just a sick person, you just simply have to do that. Okay? And of course, it's much easier to do certain things, like especially the lower vibrational ones. Okay? So once the problem starts manifesting at the physical level, you suddenly get a functionality, okay, for it. So it becomes more and more functional, while the body at the same time becomes slightly less and less functional. Okay? When you fix a certain situation, it means that you bring dysfunctionality to the problem. Okay? You make it non-existent, at least physically, okay, by replacing some pieces. Of course, if you don't replace all the pieces, the problem will still exist to a certain much smaller extent, because all the pieces age in time. Okay, so the point is, with the machine you replace the most damaged parts, but the other ones are still aging. But now, since the imbalance is gone, their aging is gonna be much more normal, because when something is very damaged, it will also pull down literally everything else, because it is an imbalance. It is something that feeds upon the energy of that manifestation. Just like in your physical body, if you have an imbalance, it usually means that you have some kind of parasite in there that starts to feed upon the pain that you're causing at that local level. And that local level gets to be sucked dry of energy more and more. And because there is such an energy imbalance occurring at that place, okay, all the other parts of the body have to overwork a bit, because the energy balance needs to be preserved. It's exactly the same thing with masturbation and release. The moment someone releases, they release life force energy, which is actually life force energy. It is part of their existence. Now, I'm not saying that if you release, you're actually shortening your life, but the point is, you're gonna feel like shit, because you suddenly have created a tremendous amount of death in your body. That energy that you have lost from a chakra almost depleted that chakra completely. And that void that you have created is almost instantly gonna be filled with energy from around, because everything is a continuous exchange. If you put something warm near something hot, they will exchange temperatures. Okay, because something that is warm, it's much colder than something that is hot, right? So physically speaking, the energy exchange will happen. It's the same thing with you. When you release that energy, you're gonna fill yourself with any other energy around you, and I'm sure that energy around you is an energy of misery, and that is why you'll start feeling like shit. And you will feel tired, because suddenly one of the chakras is depleted of its energy, and the other six have to overwork so that they compensate for the loss of the the sacral chakra's energy once you have released. That is a big point. Okay. um, so a problem has a state of functionality, and with its state of functionality, what happens is that it becomes more and more functional, while the situation that it impacts or that it influences becomes less and less functional. So through this, the point is, you bring a solution to the situation, okay, to the machine, to your body, to whatever. Instead of solving, you solve the situation. Yes, okay, you solve the challenge that it is, not the problem. In a way, like, that's how it should be, because subconsciously, if you seek to solve the problem, you're basically making it much more functional. Okay, because to repair subconsciously means to help something from a lesser state of functionality to a higher state of functionality, right? So hopefully this video wasn't too tricky to understand. Hopefully you managed to understand my point, and well, I keep becoming more and more introspective by the day, I see. I'm looking forward to your opinions, and well, just as usual, take care of yourselves, become more introspective, especially during this time, since it's probably and most likely the best time to be introspective. Take care of yourself. You are loved and appreciated. Ferenc Board signing out.